Most shows and movies today can rightly be compared to the standard contents of a household porcelain vessel, but it wasn't always so. They would just entertain or deliver a subtle theme in an interesting and thought-provoking way instead of clubbing you with an obtuse sermon.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
In those idyllic days, the most successful, socially progressive show of all time was produced. The Office. Yes, that The Office. It got a social message across to the audience that today's woke garbage shows could only dream about. More than that, the way it's spoken of these days only further demonstrates how far the culture has fallen and how badly this show's message was needed. Recently, actor and writer from the show, Mindy Kaling, was on Good Morning America, and they were talking about The Office, and she said, "Oh, we could never make it today."
That show is so inappropriate now. I mean, we always talk about the writers who I'm still in touch with now. We talk about how so much of that show we probably couldn't make now. Tastes have changed, and
it would be too offensive and the characters would be canceled immediately.
Actually, most of the characters on that show probably would be canceled.
She also mentioned she wouldn't let her kids watch it. When people try to say this show is too offensive for modern sensibilities, it really speaks more about those fragile modern notions than the show itself. She claims people's feelings about what is offensive have changed so much.
Honestly, what offends people has changed so much now, and...
Changed when? In 10 years? That show went off the air just 10 years ago. Look, if you want to tell me that times have changed since Blazing Saddles came out, okay, I'll listen to that.
What are you saying? The sheriff is near!
If you start telling me everybody is suddenly offended by something from 10 years ago, I have suspicions. The much more likely scenario is that Kaling and her LA writing buddies, morons, have one foot in their weird city bubble and the other in the fantasy land that is Twitter, where people look for reasons to be offended and say whatever it takes to get those juicy retweets. Back out here in the real world, the show consistently tops lists of most streamed shows of any genre.
People keep calling me a wonderkind.
I think another reason that more leftist writers tend to dislike this show now is because it successfully conveys a message where their ham-fisted writing does not. Kaling went on to write Velma, which... what a piece of shit. Their lazy skin and gender swaps are supposed to teach us something about isms or representation or something, somehow. The Office actually demonstrates good and bad behavior instead of just vaguely alluding to it, all while making us laugh.
See, it's funny, but it also makes you think.
I'll give Kaling one thing, it actually was offensive. That was the fucking point!
No. Remember your pressure points.
Woosa. The situations in the show resonate with us because they hit close to home. Every time Michael Scott assumes some stereotype about a black person or a woman.
What is a pap smear? Or is it schmear, like the cream cheese?
Every accidentally awkward or rude conversation. Andy Bernard's absurd behavior stemming from his severe need for attention and approval. I need your approval, please hit the like button. Smooth as fuck! These are versions of events most of us have seen play out in real life, maybe even been guilty of ourselves. This is why new shows that want to shoehorn a message in fail so badly. The situations they present are so contrived, we feel nothing when watching them. In Marvel's She-Hulk, we had recurring character Dennis. Dennis is one of several characters that is supposed to embody the horrors of masculinity, but it fails because he's so exaggerated.
There's a hot chick over there, I'm gonna go talk to it.
There are almost no real men like Dennis, but there are men like Michael Scott. There are people who meet a black person and bring up the one rapper that they know from 20 years ago because, hey, all black people must like rap, right? It's me. I have been people. When you do stuff like that, it makes people say, you see how bad that looks?
You're so white.
I gotta balance this out. Daryl, should I make any more rap references? You're right, but then you always are, you beautiful genius. The message in the show works because it just lays out these cringe-inducing situations and allows the uncomfortable, awkward feeling to build in the audience. Sometimes it's too much. I will not watch Scott's Tots. It holds the scenes up for you and says, do you see how horrible this looks? Don't do or say shit like this. If I had to pick a single scene that really sums up what they're trying to say, it's this conference room scene where Michael is asking everybody about their religion. The IT guy who's wearing a turban, on his turn, he says, well, Like, here's some hobbies and some personal information about me, but if you just want to put me in a box based on my religion, then okay, I'm a Sikh. To which Michael obliviously responds, okay, we have a Sikh, and moves on. A big underlying message of the show is that people are complex, and reducing them down to one quality is bad, no matter what your intentions. This is why new shows and movies get called woke. They just say to a minority audience, hey, we cast someone who looks like you. That's what you like, right?
I'm a black man.
What they're really saying is, all we see is your skin color or genitals, so we cast this character that shares that singular quality that defines you, consumer.
Money, please. Money, please.
We all hate these douchebag pickup artist guys that think there's like a formula for getting women.
Bro, I gave her a compliment, and I paid for dinner and bought flowers. That's the Konami code of dating. Why isn't she sleeping with me, bro?
And yet, this is the exact attitude we're seeing with screenwriting and casting these days. Cold. The final reason the show works is because it redeems bad behavior and gives everybody a turn being the bad guy. Amateur writers love to create Mary Sues and put them up against straw men to demonstrate their shallow point. So uncomfortable, they just jam it in there.
That's what she said.
The Office wrote complex characters that have something young Galadriel doesn't. Flaws. Every character in The Office takes a turn being the good guy and the bad guy, except Jim. Jim has always been a lovable scamp. They tried to just arbitrarily make us dislike Jim when Charles Minor came around. Did not work. The main social gaffe generator is Michael Scott, but they never painted him as evil. Despite his social ineptitude, he clearly loves his team and will do anything for them. They also made him kind of an idiot savant when it comes to sales. His actions earn him plenty of disapproval, as they should, but they don't make him a subhuman degenerate who is forever beyond redemption. Contrast that with that one single spicy joke you tweeted 7 years ago that could end your whole career today. In modern shows, we find the perfect good character and the irredeemable monster, neatly defined by obvious political ideology. There can never be character growth because good ideology character was never allowed to have any flaws in the first place, and bad ideology character is literally Hitler. In The Office, each character has their moment to make serious mistakes, but also to be redeemed and do some great things. This reflects our lives better than modern shows. I'll bet you've done some great things for people. I'll also bet you've done some things you're not very proud of. There it is. It popped up when I said it. That's okay, because each day is new and brings the chance for you to be a good person anytime you want. You know, for a goofy sitcom, The Office gives a surprisingly deep look at human nature and interaction. I think that's why it's still so popular today. Let me know your favorite Office moment in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.